Hello, I'm Matthew Jones.
Anthony Futia.
And here is our review and talk on Pokemon Sun and Moon and other Pokemon related stuff.
It's been a busy weekend.
Dude, yeah. Oh, man.
How many hours have you put in?
Into Pokemon so far? 24.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm about 15.
Yeah, I've put a lot of time into it right now. I did the last couple days, I've done a lot of exploring around, looking for just different Pokemon. But other than that, I'm loving it so far.
There's a lot to see, a lot to do in it. So many Pokemon, so many items, a lot of trainers. It's Game Freak really did a good job.
Game Freak's done a great job so far. So personally, myself, I don't know about a lot of other people. Once it started getting closer to the release, and a lot of the leak stuff went online, I just stopped looking at anything Pokemon related, just so I wouldn't spoil anything for myself. Right now, I've been trying to, as best as I can, just avoid stuff, just so I can try to see as much of the game without, it's like, oh man, a new Pokemon that I've never seen before. That's kind of where I'm going for right now.
Me too. I haven't picked up a guidebook. I don't think guidebooks have been available. They got
the main guidebook's not available yet. I think they're holding back a little bit.
But I'm loving the secrets though. Not looking online for anything. I don't know when my Pokemon are going to evolve.
Exactly. I mean, I've done a couple guesses on when guys are going to evolve. With Rowlet, who is the starter that I picked, and I think is an amazing starter for the guy who, for the first time, chose a grass starter.
Yeah.
Because I've always been a water guy, but yeah, the grass starter I just thought was awesome. And his final evolution is Grass Ghost, so I was like, that is an awesome combination.
Did you get to it yet?
Yeah, I did. He's got an awesome move. Spoiler, real quick, not if you want to watch, I'd stop here for just like a second. It's called Shadow Stitch, and it fires an arrow that stitches the enemy's shadow to the ground before it explodes at the enemy.
Nice.
The cool part is, if you don't kill the enemy, they can't escape at that point. So whatever Pokemon you're facing is stuck there in that position, so they can't run away.
Wow.
Which is going to be great for
legendaries?
For legendaries and whatnot. There is that battle out on the island with that mysterious one.
Oh, yeah.
So in the sense, like I said, we're going to try to keep everything as spoiler-free as possible. I shot the arrow at it, and it stopped, and it couldn't run away, because it did try to run away on me in the battle. On that, it's the new Pokemon that they've added in are really cool so far.
No really bad ones.
No really bad ones, and there's so many from all across different generations, which is good and bad. Good in the sense, man, there are so many ones that you're able to go out and find. Bad in the sense that you kind of wish there was a little more new ones, but so far it's been a good mix of old and new from across all the different generations.
What do you think of the region itself?
The region itself is really cool.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, I like the setting. I like how the whole towns are set up. That they're all kind of spread out, but there's a Pokestop here. There's a Pokemon Center here. So far, I haven't been great with extra money because I keep spending it on everything in the game.
Yeah, a lot of clothes.
I bought some clothes right off the bat. And then
you got the cafe in every Pokemon.
The cafe in every Pokemon, and then I got my hair cut at least once in it, and it was a disappointment because
I wasn't happy with my haircut.
I was kind of hoping there were going to be crazy colors or whatnot, but it didn't happen.
They should give you an option what they look like.
Coolest thing I gotta say though, so in the sense of items to buy, Ultra Balls are $400 Poké less than in any other game so far.
Really? I didn't even notice.
They're only $800, where they were $1,200 in every single one prior to that, which definitely helps since I haven't had a lot of extra cash to spend in the game so far. I'll let you answer this one. What do you think of them doing away with the regular HM system for the riding Pokemon around all the places?
I was gonna ask you that. I'm still getting used to it. I like what's his name that sniffs the items?
Stoutland, the Scotty type dog, the giant Scotty dog.
I think he's cool. I think it's cool to use Tauros. I don't know how I feel though. Like I love using Surf and Fly in battles. I don't know if we'll see those moves.
And then I think that comes to my other thing is that I love the fact that I don't have to give my Pokemon any moves that I don't want to do. I don't have to keep an HM, guy in my team that has 3 or 4 HMs, and that's all he's used for. It's a nice system that way. I am with you in the sense that I hope that the HM's moves show up in other ways, at least in TMs, because in my thought on that is that with the HM system, I understand the purpose of the HM system. My problem with it has always been is that you couldn't just delete the HM
Yeah, it takes up
when you
space.
gave it to a guy. You had to go through a whole bunch of stuff to get rid of it. And you couldn't just rewrite over it, which I think was always the big issue with the HM system. But the new system I found has worked great so far. I'm interested to see what other Pokemon I'm going to get to for some of the other moves.
So does this mean no bicycle?
That is my other thought too, is that I have not seen a bicycle yet. But if I can ride around on a Tauros at high
needs a
speed,
bicycle?
who needs a bicycle? The one thing to watch out for though is that if you're riding around in a Pokemon and you have a rappel going on, it's gone way faster because the amount of steps it takes is gone in like that.
Yeah.
Other cool aspect I really like so far is the QR code reader system.
Tell me about that.
Now, I know you hadn't done a lot with this yet, so what it is it's a system where you can scan in 10 Pokemon QR codes. Basically, you can do one every 2 hours. It resets, so you can do 10 at a time. But anyway, the cool thing is that after you've scanned in 10, you can then go in and do an island scan, and it'll give you a random, what they're saying is a rare Pokemon to the island and whatnot. First time I did it, a Mural showed up on the radar. But the only problem with that is that make sure you have as much of the island, if not all the island, available to you to get to, because the area that it was at, I couldn't access it yet. The second time I did it last night, a Totodile showed up. And I was freaking out because Totodile is my personal favorite starter out of all the generations. And so then I went... So then I had to, I went around the island looking for it, and I did catch it. So that was really cool. But that's the cool thing with the QR system.
Where do you get the codes?
The codes are basically the main idea is that you're supposed to trade them with people who have them in any which way. A few of them were put out online by Nintendo. I've seen subreddits so far on the Pokemon subreddit that has the entire list of them there. All the pictures and whatnot. I personally haven't looked through them all yet because you can also keep rescanning codes. So if you know what the 3 starters are and you don't want any spoilers past that, you can scan one, and there's one for the regular one, and there's one for the shiny one, and you can keep scanning those over every time.
Wow.
Over every time the system resets itself. Again, it's pretty much a once-a-day thing, but it's still a cool once-a-day thing that you can go out and start finding a random one.
Catch a starter Pokemon in the wild?
Yeah, that was really cool because I wasn't expecting that was going to show up. Mine resets in the next couple hours, so I'm hopefully going to have an idea of what the heck my next catch is going to be.
What do you think of the online? Have you used it a lot?
The online, I've used primarily Wonder Trade so far. I like it and I don't. I liked it better in X and Y, where I could always see on my screen when people were on and what was going on that way. If that is a feature yet or a way that I just haven't seen, I'm not sure, but it's something I haven't noticed yet. So far, it's only been the Plaza. The Plaza is kind of cool, but I kind of wish I didn't have to go somewhere else to load all that stuff on the screen. I wish, much like the other one, I know when my friends are on. I know when things are happening. That was a cool system that way. What do you think what do you think about the system of basically you can take care of your Pokemon after the battle's over?
I was going to just ask you that. At first I thought it was really cool. Be more personalized with your Pokemon. Clean them up, give them a berry. But I feel like now, after a while, it gets boring because of the nuisance. But
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think if there's any Pokemon that you're trying to have better relationship with, I mean, because you're also talking that with some of those Pokemon, critical hits happen more. avoiding damage happens, at a higher rate. So there are benefits to having a Pokemon that is totally in sync with you for it. Again, yeah, I don't do it after every battle, but because sometimes it's like, all right. And there's also another thing we'll talk about in a sec, the Pokemon Islands. But yeah, I mean, so it's cool to do. The coolest, I think, thing for it, however, is the fact that you can use that without having to use an antidote or anything, you can basically give a Pokemon medicine and their poison's gone.
Yeah.
And their burn is so you can heal you can't give their life back, but their HP back, but you can give them stuff to make it better, which is kind of a cool aspect that way.
Now, is there a difference with the colored beans you feed them?
I don't know if there's a difference between the colored beans you feed them. It looks just like the Pokepuff system in X and Y, where there are different ones. I think possibly it could work out in the same instance that some like some better than others. Mm-hmm. Have you done the islands yet?
No, tell me about them.
Okay, so there's this weird pads, whatever island thing, I forget what the heck it's called. Basically, it's a place where your box Pokemon can just hang out in the wild. So
I was introduced to that, but I haven't.
Yeah, so I was introduced to it, and then I made a couple of the islands up, and each one has different things you can do. One island will attract wild Pokemon. I've had no success with that one so far. And that one also has a ton of beans. So there's like a giant beanstalk, and you can keep shaking it and keep getting different colored beans. Beside the regular ones is also dual color and rainbow colored beans, and each one's worth more. And you spend the beans on the island to feed the Pokemon so they do more stuff. One of the islands is a berry island that you can use to get more berries, and you plant them there, and then the Pokemon tend to them. There's a treasure island where they can go and look for items for you. And then there's there are a couple other islands. I haven't unlocked all of them yet, but those are the three main ones that I've worked with, and you can keep upgrading them too.
Awesome.
The only thing is it does cost beans to do it.
Yeah.
So if you're really using your beans, save it. But in the same instance, if you keep upgrading at least the first island, you can get as many beans as you want. So as you continue on, and that resets throughout the day. But it's just another cool little aspect, of them adding like their little mini game type stuff into it. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been having a great time with it so far.
Is there anything you don't like?
Um,
I'll tell you one thing. First Island had so much cutscenes and text. I feel like they could have used voice actors. Would have helped.
Okay. All right, I can see that. I mean,
not for every trainer, but maybe
absolutely.
Just for the cutscenes.
I understand. One thing that I liked, a lot of people did, I liked how some of the 3D effects worked in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. The fact that it was basically taken out entirely is understandable, but some of the things, like I'm watching like the Z moves going, and it's like, yeah, that would be really cool to watch in 3D. The only thing that works in 3D so far I found is the camera system. So when you're doing like the Pokemon camera stuff,
when you take pictures,
your new age Pokemon Snap, you can zoom it, you can have it in 3D, and I'm like, why?
Don't compare that to Pokemon Snap, please.
But it's your basic aspect of it.
True.
But yeah, so that's kind of weird, but that's not a huge deal.
Team Skull.
Team Skull.
Super lame, but I know they're lame on purpose.
I don't know.
They're funny.
They're lame on purpose. They're funny. I feel that there's something bigger going on.
Exactly.
I don't know if Team Skull is more just a bunch of hey, here's the guys that are in charge. These are the guys causing trouble, but there's some ulterior motive because there's a lot of big company stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of different people you meet that are totally random. So, like I said, so there's that sort of aspect to it as well. They're funny. I kind of wish, though, when two of them would show up, more often than not, like multiple battles would happen versus just a lot of single battles. Or you face one and then you have to face the other one right after. My question to you then, speaking of that, how do you feel about the whole thing of Pokemon being able to call more Pokemon into battle?
It's pretty cool, but super annoying because you can't You can't catch Pokemon when there's more than one on the field.
Yeah, it's just like the being attacked by a crowd of Pokemon.
Yeah.
In the X and Y.
And I feel like it's kind of unfair. I mean, I know it adds more of a challenge, but I wish it could become 2-on-2 battles. And then
2-on-2, yeah, bring out a second one that way. That'd be kind of cool. I think it's cool. I also find it annoying too, is especially if like the certain Pokemon I've been trying to catching so far appears. Like I'll say a Pokemon because it's not a new one. Magbay. I was catching one, and in the battle he called, I think it was he or she, one of them called, like throughout the battle he got like 10 guys in there. As soon as I took one out, another one would drop in, and then another one would drop in, and it's like, I just want to catch one of you.
At that point, you just run away.
Yeah, well, but the only cool thing that way is that, is like, all right, I'm sick of you, so you take out the one that was driving you crazy, and then just start catching the other one.
How about the Totem Trials?
Totem Trials, I think, are a lot of fun so far.
Different from gym battles.
Different from regular gym battles. I mean, until you get to the Kahunas, which are pretty straightforward gym battles. But the different trials have been great. So far, I've had decent battles with the Totem Pokemon where it's not just a one-hit, one-kill.
Yeah.
Except for one, and I won't say which one I did it to. But I did pick the water, the fire, the grass starter. Wow. And one of the battles throughout, I one-hit KO'd it, so it didn't have a chance to call on anything else. But the first few of them, like for the first one, I had Raticate that I had to face, and it's first off, they're all like giant versions of the Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then it just kept calling in and healing up and calling in. So it wasn't just a quick.
Yeah, it's pretty challenging.
It's like, hey, and my whole thing is like, I'm this many levels above you. That's great, but it was like, I just couldn't. I just kept knocking it down, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So the totem system's really cool so far, and yeah, but I'm enjoying it so far. I've made it through a few of the islands totems. Fossils yet? Have you done any fossil stuff?
I actually just got to the town where you purchase the fossils at
cool.
the mart.
Yeah, cool. So far, there's a cool thing where you can get fossils throughout the game. I don't know if there's a Alola version fossil yet. I haven't gone looking for it. All I know is that any of the fossils I've been able to get were from other generations so far.
That's cool.
So that's cool that you can at least go in and do it, and then go to the Jurassic Park guy, and he'll take care of it for you that way. Wonder Trade I've had pretty good luck with so far in this game, and I'm getting a few Wingulls and a lot of little ones like that. But for the most part, I've gotten some pretty cool stuff. I try to send out the cool stuff when I can too anyway, so it's not just like, oh, I want something cool for this lame Pokemon I'm sending out. I don't know really where Pokemon Sun and Moon rank for me yet, because there's still so much to do. There's still so much more time I need to put in. I mean, I freaking loved X and Y and the Generation 6 upgrades, but I mean, there isn't a Pokemon game I don't love in the main series. There are certain ones that I find better than others, but there's not one that I wouldn't play again. So yeah, for me, it's been an awesome game. The only other thing I could say for it is that the time difference between the games. So you're playing Sun, correct? And I'm playing Moon. It's night and day. So when it's daytime for you, it's nighttime for me. When it's nighttime for me, it's daytime for you. So I'm a pretty late night player usually anyway. So it's always daytime. Which is like, oh, it's cool. A lot of Pokemon stuff happen during the day, but I don't get to see the night that often.
Yeah.
Because usually I do stuff during the day. So it's good and bad that way, but I mean, I totally understand why they're doing it that way so far. So it's been fun. Much like I evolved an Eevee, and I'm thinking to myself, and I was trying to get an Umbreon, because it's like my favorite of the Eevee evolutions anyway. and it's nighttime for me in real life, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna evolve this at nighttime, and then I didn't think about it at all that it's daytime in the game, and I got the Espeon, which is cool because I've never used one on a team since.
Yeah.
I think that's the only other thing I'll say so far is that because there are so many. I've caught some cool ones from the new generation, but because I haven't been hammered yet with a ton of ones from the new ones, a lot of my team is a mix of a couple new ones and then ones from older generations, which for me has kind of left me sitting on using my starter more often than not.
Yeah.
Whereas with X and Y, I had a much more diverse team throughout the entire game, and one that I switched through. So I haven't found that team balance yet. That was really cool.
I'm still switching in and out.
Right now, I got my Snorlax, which is kind of fun to have.
Yeah.
If you haven't yet, if you're getting the game, download the Snorlax while it's still available.
It's ending soon, right?
I think it ends I think it's sometime at the end of the end of the year to give people who are getting it for maybe holidays, something like that, something to work with. But yeah, so far, I got a couple members on my team that are from the new game, and then a couple from the older game so far. As soon as I get the chance, I'll probably put Totodile back on my team.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of something that's really cool that way, catching a Pokemon. And do you want to add this to your team? Do you want to send it to the box? Great. Oh, it's holding an item. Do you want to send it with the Pokemon to the box? Or do you want to put it in your backpack? It's like, yes, that is a great addition.
Great idea.
So there are so a lot of the little mechanic changes that have been great. One thing that I also really have liked so far, the soundtrack has been
great,
really good.
Yeah.
The battle music feels like it's epic battles all the time. Which is not that they haven't had epic music before, but I think the soundtrack got a ton of awesome play in it so far. I think the last thing to talk about, at least in my sense for it, is that what do you think of the Alola versions of the ones from like the previous generations?
See, so I have a Meowth, a Diglett, Rattata. I haven't seen really any other ones, but they're pretty cool.
I got Grimer.
Oh, I have Grimer too.
I got Grimer, Rattata. I haven't seen the exclusive one for the game so far yet.
I haven't seen Sandshrew either.
Yeah, Sandshrew will show up for me, but Vulpix will show up for you. So yeah, in the instance I haven't seen the exclusive for me, which I know is Sandshrew in Moon and Vulpix in Sun. If that is a contributing factor to something you want to get, because I know the Alola versions have been pretty cool so far. I haven't run into Execute for an Executor yet.
Isn't Raichu?
Raichu, yep. I did a battle against one of the Raichu so far, which is pretty cool. My guy being a Ghost Grass type, it was a pretty it's like, oh, it's cool, you're a Psychic type. Let me take care of that. But yeah, I got a Pichu on my team that I'm working up to a Pikachu, and then I'm gonna evolve it right off the bat. My Magbay is one level away from Magmar, and I caught it, and it was holding the Magmizer.
Oh,
so if I
nice.
trade it, if I trade it and then hopefully get it back, I can get my Magmortar as soon as it evolves. I was like, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Other than that, I'm enjoying Pokemon Sun and Moon a lot. It was kind of my, man, I know Pokemon Go would be like, I was having fun on and off with Pokemon Go. It's like, man, now I have the regular Pokemon game, and it's like, well, that's pretty much it for most other video games for right now, other than my Overwatch obsession with multiplayer. But yeah, I think this is a great game. If you haven't picked it up, I totally recommend doing it when you get the chance. It depends on which version you like better. Most of the changes are not hugely different between one versus the other than, say, like the cover legendary and, like I said, Sandshrew and Vulpix being in one version versus the other. There are other ones out there. You can look it up. Me personally, I'm going to stay surprised until the end. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we finish the games, we'll do another video.
Yeah, we'll do another video giving a little more in-depth update, a final review. Just to be like, yeah, we'll see exactly how it goes. But other than that, I mean, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this has been fun, but I kind of need to get back and play a little bit more.
Yeah, me too. Oh, enough of this video. Back to Pokemon.
All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Matthew Jones.
Anthony Futia.
Peace out.